Hello and welcome to my channel, House of Gemini. Today I will be doing my unboxing video of Misfit Market. Also today I will be uploading my very first box with imperfect foods, so stay tuned for that. Thanks so much. So this week I am going to do a little different approach. I'm going to kind of zoom in on the product itself so you can get a real good look at what I'm seeing and hopefully pick up on some of the things that I'm seeing. So here are my organic Fuji apples, and this week they're quite large, which is great. I can cut them up and use them for a variety of things. This one is smashed up a little bit here, and they're discolored a bit. I did a quick wash before filming, just so you can see they're still a little wet. I'll do another rinse, and then I will store them away. So you can see they're looking okay. It's not a big deal for us. Here are my 2 mangoes that I received. Last week they were delicious. They were a little bit unripe. This week they came in frozen and they're quite mushy. Few indentation spots, some wrinkling. That tends to happen when they are kind of going over ripe. This one has a large indentation and it was also frozen partially, very mushy to the touch. So I'll have to try those tomorrow morning for my smoothie. My jalapenos this week are not looking so great. These I would not be picking for myself at the store. You can see that they're quite abused. They're also came in partially frozen, scattered through the box. This one's broken open, if you can see that or not. Since here, I mean, I just wouldn't choose that for myself at the store. It's soft and a little mushy. You can tell that it was frozen and now it's thawed out. These here are a little discolored. This looks slightly better. This one is discolored and it's not as squishy as the others. This is probably the only one that would say is up to par. Here you can see my bell peppers. I did pick up some red bell peppers this week, and this is what we would call the misfit. So the shape is quite goofy and it's quite large, which is good because it did come in partially frozen in spots. There's some really soft spots in areas. I don't know if you can pick that up on the camera or not. So we will have to cut off some of these areas that are soft and that were frozen. Thankfully, they're large, so I can cut off some of these parts that are unuseful. But we also ordered the orange bell peppers. Again, here's one that's a good example of what a misfit is. It's very large and kind of deformed, but otherwise still very edible. There's some spots here. I'll just cut those. These some areas where it's partially frozen, a little softer, a little beat up. We'll have to cut those up and use these right away. Same thing here, a few little blemishes. They did partially freeze use out of the most of the product as I can. You can see here, I'll go back and forth between. Very pretty, and they look great. Just a little frozen this time. Next up I have our cabbage. Looks pretty good. I think I'll peel off this outer layer. Next up we have a head of cauliflower, which is quite small this week. It was wrapped in a little plastic, but I did take that out and give it a nice rinse spaghetti squash. I just wish they would come in a little larger or give me 2 of them. Here you see my broccoli bunches. I got 2 bunches this week. Look pretty good. No damage. This is the part of the order that I was a little disappointed in this week. The lettuce. I was so excited to finally be able to get some because normally it's already gone by the time I get in to place my order, and you can see it's kind of wilty, discolored in areas. I think it froze along the way. Everything was very dirty, so I did have to clean this and I'll have to do a second wash, but you can just see it's on the outside edges anyways. This one here, you can really see it, at least in person. It's just flimsy and I think it froze. This side looks a little better, well, a lot better actually than this side here. Next up, I've got my flat spinach, which is looking a little rough around the edges. You can see here it's quite gross and in the cold for a FedEx shipment. Just isn't looking very fantabulous. Looks wilted in areas. I'll have to throw some of this away, as you can see. And the same thing here, I got 2 bunches of the spinach, flat leaf spinach, and it's just not looking fabulous, as you can see here in parts. Slim and maybe, I don't know. We'll kind of stay away from those parts. I'll see what I can salvage. I think it's more of the same. If you can see here, wilted and just, I don't know. Here we have the romaine lettuce that I ordered. This is actually a little better than the others. You can see that some parts will have to be cut off here. The layer underneath will be a little better off. You can kind of see here, broken off pieces, some discoloration and icky stuff there, so we'll probably throw some of those away. Quite dirty. My whole sink water was really brown when I washed these lettuces. You can see it's just looking a little sad here. I will be sending an email to Misfit Market and let them know, you know, that this happened. I think due to the cold front and it was delayed a day, that things just weren't up to standard, I guess. So this week I was able to get my hands on this variety, which is the lacinato kale. I think they also call this the dinosaur kale, if I'm not mistaken, just from the looks of it. This looks better, but the kale tends to be hardier and seems to survive a lot better than some of the others. Maybe for the rest of the winter months I won't be ordering some of these other varieties that are a little less hardy, especially these here. They were probably the worst of the worst, or the flat leaf spinach. So the sun decided to pop out, and here's a little better view of my produce from my Maddness box this week. Apples, oranges, mango, jalapeno peppers, some lettuce, red and orange bell peppers, broccoli, cauliflower, spaghetti squash, red cabbage, romaine lettuce, dinosaur kale, and the flat leaf spinach. I don't know why I was thinking broccoli. Flat leaf spinach at the end here. Next, I have the marketplace order of my Misfit Market purchase this week. I did pick up some of the sparkling blackberry Izzy drinks. These came up a little beat up, partially frozen. The cans are beat up. We love the Izzy drinks here in our house, so we pick those up from time to time. Blackberries have been really amazing every time, so we have kept up with those. This week I did pick up some of the Baby Bellas. I picked up a pineapple for my kiddo who loves pineapple. And then I picked up the Izzy Sparkling Lemon. And I wanted to note that they have improved a little bit from my first time I purchased this. This week they did wrap them all individually, kind of a double wrap, if you can see. A little tissue paper and then this whipped paper around it. So I did leave those so you could see that they are making improvements, and I appreciate that. This week I have to say I was a little disappointed. My box was delayed a full day because of the weather, and some of my produce was frozen and beat up along the way. Here you can see, you know, this one is not looking good at all. I think it may have been frozen, but definitely beat up in the box, if you can make all that out now. And I'm really excited to try these. I think they're called caponelli onions. I don't know, something to that effect. But I was really excited to see those, and I wanted to give those a try this week. They must have run out of the white version because I did get more of the red. And I'm just guessing that that's what happened, is they ran out. You know, I do have another unboxing video to do today. I will be doing the imperfect foods. I wanted to give them a try as well and compare and contrast and see what works best for us. For the most part, I've been using the majority of my produce with Misfit Market. Some things have gone bad, which is unfortunate. It's the whole point of the service. So for the next week, I did do the smaller box option. and I just went online before this part of the video to make my selections for next week. And I will be downsizing, so it'll be interesting to see the difference in the quantity for the smaller box. So this week I did have a few comments to make on my Misfit Market purchase. We had a delay of 1 day due to the weather. The Misfit Market warehouse, I believe, is out east, and I'm in the Midwest. I did receive an email from Misfit yesterday, sorry about that, letting me know that my box would be delayed today, and that was disappointing, but I get it. The weather does terrible things around the country, and it's wreaking havoc all over the place. So we're no stranger to that here in Minnesota. As I was saying, I have seen some improvement with Misfit Markets lately, specifically in their packaging. I did notice the insert, as I mentioned earlier, and I noticed that the glass was wrapped in tissue and the other paper. So I have seen some improvements there, and anytime I've needed to reach out to customer service when something has been a little disappointing, they've always responded within like usually 24 to 48 hours. And I just wanted to give some other options a try. So with Imperfect Foods, that'll be coming up next. Thank you for watching and have a great day.